This is terrifying dreams of World War III continued. The second dream came about a year later. It was in 2016. The first dream came at 2014. The second dream came, and it was a hot summer day. The first dream was on in the wintertime. It was bitter cold, but the second dream came a year later. It was a hot spring night. It was on May 25th of 2016 I got this dream. It was a hot spring night. I just got home from work. I put on the air conditioner as soon as I walked through the door, and Odin, my dog, panted. He was in the back of the house. Odin started to whine to go outside, so I walked to the back of the house and opened up the door and let him outside. The poor dog had been locked up for 10 hours, and I looked at the thermometer and it said 76 degrees in the house. I put on my black German Shepherd Odin outside to cool him off. I took off my dirty orange tennis shoes and threw my car keys on my bedroom dresser in the dark as I had opened up the door. The bedroom was messy. Bags of things were piled up. The bed had a hole in where the spring was coming out. I threw a blanket over my bags. The things were piled up. The bed had a hole on it where the spring was coming out. Threw a blanket over the protruding spring that popped up slightly. The room was cool now. I had an air conditioner setting by my bed. I could not put it on until I figured out how to take out the screen. It was a cheap window from Menard's store, so I struggled trying to pull the screen out and put the air conditioner in. And I gave up, and I figured, well, I'll just call a friend and he'll help me take it out in another week. In the meantime, the room was stifling and unbearable to sleep. I turned on the box fan. I went to the door and I opened the door. Odin, come in this house. I yelled at him. Odin, come in the house. I pleaded with the dog for a few minutes, and the dog refused to come inside. The heat in the house was unbearable, and I couldn't blame the dog. I could smell sweat on my blankets, and I laid on the bed, and the room was pitch black. I could hear the buzzing of the fan noise, and the fan noise buzzing put me to sleep. I was propelled into a dream sleep. In the dream, I saw a motel with Christina, my youngest child. We were watching the great fire coming from up north. I could see woods and pine forest. The motel was in Wisconsin. It was in northern Wisconsin. A great fire was coming from north, and I could see a pine forest. The motel was in Wisconsin. The great fire was in Canada, I thought. I could see, as I looked out the window from the cabin, I could see the sign that said, a big giant sign that said Canada. As I looked north of the motel, I saw this giant cloud of fire coming at us. It lit up the whole northern sky. Me and Christina leaned out the motel window and saw the great fire coming up, light up the north. The whole thing was silent. Everybody ran into their cabins, and it was silence. And I noticed the whole United States was silent. The people all seemed to run up and battle this giant fire cloud. Me and Christina looked at each other from the motel room, and we noticed there were hardly any people outside to notice the fire. The fire started late at night. We noticed the people ran inside the motel rooms. Another thing, we noticed that it was up near Canada, and it was a giant cloud of fire coming at us. I suspect it was a nuclear blast that came at us. That's what I suspect what the dream was about. This dream is to come about in 2020. Christina returns home to her mother's house. She's with her father now, and she'll be returning in 2020 in June. This is when Christina comes home to me, and we go on a vacation, and it's in the summertime. So I suspect this will happen in June 2020 or later. Okay, I just wanted to warn people of this graphic dream.